Welcome to the Savvy Dentist podcast with Dr. Jesse Green, the show where great dentistry meets great business. Listen in each week as we bring you an inspiring person who will share their story, ideas and business techniques to help you create a practice and a life you love. And now introducing your host, Dr. Jesse Green.
It's time to get your smoking jacket, time to get your cravat and your glass of port. So I'm going to go through the framework with you. I'm going to show you how it works, and I'm going to show you why it's so critical that you nail this fireside chat. Okay? The key here, the goal is to understand who the patient is, what they want, what they don't want, and to establish bidirectional expectations and obligations. And the emphasis is on bidirectional. We're committing to them, but we also want them to commit to us. Okay? Really key. What I want to share with you is if you're doing something that's not really valuable, but it's highly unique, this is where you might make the coat hanger that doubles as a lighter kind of thing. You'll have something really unique but have no market for it. Equally, if you're down here where things are not valuable and not unique, just don't bother. Where most people as dentists live is most dentists are really conscientious. Most people are down here where it's valuable but they're not unique. And the reason or the consequence of that is they're now competing on price. So we want to give you guys something that's unique, something that's a talking point, and something that adds massive value to the patient and positions you in such a way as doing something above and beyond the average. And the fireside chat is one of the ways that we get to do this. The fireside chat is a mega touch point. The new patient exam is massive touch point in the patient experience. So if you can nail this and do it well, it's really critical. So what we want to do is build rapport with our patients. And again, this helps us move from a transactional method or model of communication to something that's more relational. And being in rapport is absolutely critical. I want to talk to you a little bit about the fireside chat and the focus of it, that people will buy from those that they know, like, and trust. And so what we're establishing here is not just the wants and needs and emotional motivators and concerns of the patient. We're looking to be better known, better liked, and better trusted by the patient. The thing that I mentioned earlier, which is, again, really key to mention, is that patients are never just cases. And I know that when I say that, that sounds exceedingly obvious. Yet when I walk into so many dental practices, you would think the opposite. The patients come and go, it's transactional, they sit down, the patient is often in the chair while the dentist has their back to them, washing their hands, talking over their shoulder, that sort of stuff. It's really counter to what they're saying. So the focus of the preclinical exam or fireside chat, whatever you want to call it, really is to understand the patient, who they are, what they want at a really granular level. So let's move on. A couple of guidelines here I want to go through with you. First thing I'd say is this is, in my view, a job for the dentist. There are times when the dentist just needs to do what the dentist does, and this is one of them. In this particular instance, generally speaking, the patient will want the dentist. I know there are some people who do it differently, where they'll have a support staff do this, and then the support staff member will brief the dentist. But in my view, it's better when it comes from the dentist. But that's just a thing. It takes about 20 minutes. You want to be sitting with the patient eye to eye. You don't want to have masks, gloves, other paraphernalia, no distractions, no charts, no nothing. You want the patient seated upright and without a bib. A bib is a bit like a seat belt, okay? And it kind of makes them feel like we're in the dental chair. We're going. What we want to try and do is make this conversational. Now, if you happen to have a consult room, you could absolutely do this in a consult room and then move to the surgery if that's what you wanted to do. But assuming you're doing in the actual surgery and the patient sitting in the dental chair, don't put the bib on them. The DA has a role where they need to be recording information really, really clearly. My preference is to record the conversation almost word for word. Use the patient's language so you can reflect that language back to the patient later on in the words that they themselves have used. Okay? So don't paraphrase it, use their words. Interestingly enough, you want to be recording information about them as a person, where they've been on holidays, the fact that they've got new kids, first grandchild, whatever it happens to be. I've got a patient I saw the other day. She's having 4-unit anterior implant bridge, and she's got 2 grandsons who have just been born. They're twins. They're about 6 months old. One's sitting up, the other one's not. All this sort of stuff is really of massive interest to me because I know it's important to her. Okay, so next time I see her, I can't remember the other one's name. I have to check my notes. Is he sitting up yet? Are they rolling around? Are they crawling? What are they up to? So I can ask those questions. And I do care because she's lovely, but I still need my prompts to remember everything about everyone, okay? So it's okay to rely on your notes. It's better if you can write it down so that other team members have access to that information as well. When you're asking questions, go deeper. Make sure you explore that topic of conversation to its natural conclusion. Juice the lemon. Get everything you can out of that conversation and make sure you extract all the goodness. Be flexible with the conversation, and remember it's a conversation, not an interrogation. It's not 20 questions with a spotlight on them. Where were you on the night of the 9th? It doesn't really kind of work that way. Just go easy with it. First thing we're going to be doing is enrolling the patient. Okay, and when I mean by enrolling the patient, we're explaining to them what's happening. We're pre-framing what's happening, and we're giving them permission to come and join us and go on a journey together. What we then do is we have questions to explore. Okay, so then we're going to also do a bit more pre-framing, where we're going to be pre-framing the need for a separate consultation, and we're going to be pre-framing the expectations and obligations of the patient as well. Pre-framing a conversation is outlining how the conversation is going to go before it happens. So Tina, today we're going to be having a conversation about blah, 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 blah. It's going to take us about half an hour. And at the end of it, I expect that we're going to have 3 outcomes that we're trying to achieve, A, B, and C. Is that cool with you? And so I've said that at the very beginning so that when we have the conversation, Tina knows what we're covering, how long it's going to be, and what the outcome's going to be. Make sense? So pre-framing is something that I use all the time, particularly in this scenario. What I find is if you can anticipate things ahead of time, you're a genius. Not really, but you perceive really well. But when you don't preempt something before and then it happens and you're trying to recover, it can feel a bit like you're backpedaling.
Thank you for listening to the Savvy Dentist podcast with Dr. Jesse Green. For more free tools and resources, join the free Facebook group. Visit drjessegreen.com/Facebook. And for more episodes, visit drjessegreen.com/savvydentist.